I'm just making it.
All right. So we're gonna have the meeting come to order. Welcome to all of staff senators as well as all our guests online. We're going to call this meeting to order at 3:01 p.m. And I did get confirmation with attendance from our secretary that we have reached quorum, or I'm sorry, from our parliamentarian, we have reached quorum and secretary. It has been established so we can conduct business of the day. So Jessica did send out minutes from last month for every senator to have a chance to review and look over. Are there any questions or comments from last month's meeting minutes? Who would like to move to approve minutes, July's minutes? All right, Senator McCormick, Senator Kennard as a second. Beautiful. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say no. Beautiful. The ayes have it. All right, we are going to get started. So to update y'all today, our guest speaker is going to be Brian Favela from Parking and Transportation Services. He will be here around 3:30. So we're going to do a little shift in the agenda where we're going to move our guest speaker towards the end of today. So pending where we are in committee updates, want to give you all that time, but we have a good, fruitful meeting today. So please share as much as you can with the body. And like was said earlier with Barry, if you can come up here, just speak near the microphone. That way all of those online can hear you. That would be wonderful. All right. So moving into president's updates, we're going to start with our theme with Celebrate, Collaborate, and Innovate. I did want to share, I don't know if y'all tuned in, but it has been an amazing last few weeks in general of sports with the Olympics and watching all the Gamecock athletes participating. And then the Rivals in Red. I wanted to, in our exec committee, really wanted to thank all of the staff that have worked that event. We know that the Rivals in Red was a really big, summertime event happening at Williams-Brice. So big thank you to our facilities teams, our athletics staff, our USPD staff. Truly anyone and everyone, communications staff, anyone that's had their hands in the planning and just production of that. That was a large scale event in Columbia with, oh, something's weird. Is that? Oh, no, you're good. Feedback, you're good. But wanted to make sure we shared that. We just want to celebrate that. We did want to celebrate. I know that policy and well-being will share more, but the fact that you saw that note in Teams, ADA paratransit, having that access open to staff as well is really wonderful. So if we can give a round of applause to policy and well-being. Thank you, guys. And you do need to be registered with Employee Relations Office to be able to utilize the ADA paratransit around campus. The donations, thank you all so much for your donations continuously for the Gamecock Community Shop. We have clothes that were donated today. We have goods and anything for the students and for staff and faculty as well that can utilize the Gamecock Community Shop. So we really want to do that. And then Staff Senator, Robert, can you stand up right there? Let's welcome Robert Sutherland. He is representing the graduate school since Wright Culpepper stepped away. And so he is now their senator representing and will be in the seat until next spring when the elections happen again. And then wanted to celebrate the staff engagement with you all. We have actually had a lot of non-senator staff across campus start to get involved and connected to staff senate committees with you all. So keep doing what you're doing. I think what we wanted to celebrate from exec committee is the fact that the word is getting out. You all are sharing the good things that are happening with your constituents. People are getting re-energized and wanting to help. So just thinking of policy and well-being, thinking of the community crew, thinking of our Gamecock Community Shop, thinking of, we have the newest with scholarship and fundraising. We have additional staff members that are connecting to our committees because they just want to give back and make things better. And that's what this is about. So really exciting to see how much is coming with our staff engagement on campus. Collaborations. So how many of you volunteered yesterday for move-in? All right, how was it? It was hot. It was fun. It was energizing. It was exciting to see all of our Gamecock families and the students coming in. And so they are in need of dire help for Saturday specifically with volunteers, Sunday as well, if you can. And really just passing this along to your constituents too. This is a university collaborative event for our community. And so giving back, I know I worked yesterday, it was hot, so definitely a hat, sunscreen, all that, water. But they really need Saturday support. Yesterday, they moved about 3,000-ish students into campus for early move-in. Saturday, they're looking over 4,000 students, and they only have a third of the volunteers they need right now. And so we really need people to help if they can. I know it's on the weekend, but we are one of those communities that, especially staff, we make things happen. We make the magic happen. And so if you are willing, or if you know there's people in your office that do love to help or love to volunteer, please utilize this time. I don't know if you can work with your supervisors that if they give some weekend time, can they give back some time in the week? Just figuring that out. Please talk with your leadership about this. I think that's really important. So there's a QR code to sign up if you want, and we will send this out as well. But please have your staff and teams sign up if they can help on Saturday and Sunday. We have many other events coming up with volunteering, and we will send a lot out that you can push to your constituents. And so just knowing there's so many opportunities to give back, and same with you all, just love to see you show up at some of these things and help support. And we'll send out those links for First Met Carolina Family Weekend, Health and Wellness Expo as things come. And speaking of the Gamecock Community Shop, there are a lot of items that our students, staff, and faculty still need. The biggest part, you have actually it handed out. I know they'll talk about it in their committee update, but they do need food. And the biggest thing right now too is we have our international students that come in, and they don't come in with a lot of household items. So we're thinking, sheets, towels, pillows, things that are just necessary that they don't think to bring with them, but they really need that support as well. So we'll put that in and into the chat, but just really wanting to make sure that we get that out there. And Senator Christopher, is there anything else you can share about what is needed for donations?
Almost anything. So if in doubt, they do need more professional clothes rather than casual clothes, although they do take casual clothes too. Specifically smaller men's sizes, and they can't keep men's shoes in the professional development closet because there's such a need. So please, if you're doing a switch out from summer to fall, I know it's still hot outside, please consider donating. Again, it's easy to donate, even if they're not open. There's a basket outside of their office, a big box that you can put donations in. So anything and everything. And if you're somebody to transport it down there, I'd be happy to pick them up from you to take down there.
Wonderful. And when in doubt, anyone listening in online or you all here, just connect with the different senators in your areas and have them to be able to donate, and we can centralize to get to the community shop. But really excited to put that out there. And then innovate. So this is just sharing a lot of the things that are coming up or that have been working on that some of you have shared. The first one is that it is not a final yet, but with the Alumni Association coming to Staff Senate, they saw a very easy low-hanging fruit to pull where they could create an active faculty and staff membership that if you wanted to have an annual membership, if you are an alum of the university and you're an active faculty or staff member, you could get a discounted rate as well as a lifetime membership. Those rates are not set yet, but we have been having great discussions. And so I'm really hopeful and excited for that innovation to come because again, it makes sense. We have so many people, especially our staff, that are Gamecock alum working here. And that was just an easy opportunity to say, can we work something out? And of course, they said, yes, we can. And so that's the beauty of the work that we do is that we can, all it takes sometimes is one question, one ask. The worst that could happen is no, right? But it's important to open the conversation. And so that happened after when Jared Evans came and spoke to Staff Senate. So please know that these conversations are continuing. With parking and transportation, we are proud of our parking and transportation services team creating the Park USC app and bringing that to our campus, right? Very innovative, up with the students with technology, and right at your fingertips. And so we'll hear more from our guest speaker about that. And then affiliate ad hoc committee. We saw the need, and exec committee has talked about this, the need for affiliate voices and to figure out how can we as a staff body help either bring into the fold affiliate voices or help understand how can we as a group either help support, weave in, figure out that, because we have a lot of people that work on this campus that are considered affiliates. So they're not staff, they're not faculty, they're not temp, they're truly governed by a different body, but they are on our campus working with our students, working with our faculty and staff, but have needs too. And so figuring that out. So if you are interested in being a part as a senator as well, and additionally with an ad hoc committee regarding affiliate status, please come up to me after this and let me know, let any of the exec members know, because we want to make sure that that group can kind of get up and running. So we figure out in tandem with the membership committee how we can make things happen. And it could be in tandem even with the bylaws committee, right? To figure out if something were to evolve, what would that look like? Very excited about that, but that came from just an ask from senators. So again, if you're interested, please share that. I see that our guest is in the room, and would you like to go now or would you like to go later? Okay, so we're actually going to move to our guest speaker, and let me introduce Brian. And come on up and I'll get this ready. All right. Let me get this up for you all, and we'll come back to the committee updates. There we go. All right, so Brian Favela has over 20 years of parking and transportation industry experience. Brian is a U.S. Army veteran where he served as a medic and nurse at the White House, Pentagon, and within NATO. Brian currently holds 2 masters, Masters of Arts in Management and Leadership and Master of Business Administration with an emphasis in public administration. He currently is pursuing his EDD in educational leadership. Brian's career in parking began within the hospitality industry, where he increased customer satisfaction scores and led the region in customer satisfaction scores for 5 consecutive years. His career progression has allowed him to manage some of the world's largest complex parking and transportation operations, including the Texas Medical Center and the Louisiana State University parking. Brian is experienced in developing strategic frameworks, modernizing operations, and has a firm understanding of all gambits of the parking and transportation industry within higher education. He has a customer-first mindset where he takes a balanced approach in all the operations he manages, ensuring every aspect of operation has equal attention. I know in my 12 years being here, I have not seen someone so open and engaging to listen and work with the community. And so with that, I'm excited to introduce Brian, our Director of Parking and Transportation Services. So let's give him a round of applause.
Well, good afternoon, everybody.
If you don't mind standing around here for the microphone online.
Okay. And do they talk back? Oh, good afternoon. So again, I'm Brian Favela. Just got here in October. Parking and Transportation Director. Excited to be here. Space bar. There we go. Need to modernize that. So again, I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I have 20 years of experience. I am pursuing my EDD in educational leadership. My doctorate, actually my thesis, which just got cleared, is the impacts of parking procedures on the students' learning environment at the University of South Carolina. So basically, I'm trying to figure out how bad we screw up the students today. But it's really a good research project. I'm really into it. Lucky that the university I go to approved it. I am married and I have 3 college-age students. All right, so since my arrival, there was 3 things I dropped on my team, and I said we're going to improve our communications, our community, and our customer service. And so everything that I've been doing since October revolves around these 3 things. So basically, if it didn't revolve in this arena, we just kind of put it on the shelf for now. So with that said, we also took a balanced approach, and I want to kind of fly through this because I know many of you have a lot of questions, so I want to make sure that you have time to ask those questions. But we took a balanced approach. It's kind of a balanced scorecard where we focus on the customer, we focus on ourselves internally, and then we really kind of focused on the financial side of things. Some of you have witnessed that because of the fee increases and things like that. And then training and development for my staff. So customer service training, professional development. And so we really focus on the team as well. So what have we done? We've done a lot. And so a lot of big cool things going on. Pendleton and Blossom Street Garage, we put some money into fixing the stairwells. we're trying to address the things that need immediate needs right now. We improved the Osborne lot, in which we instilled, it was a small enough lot, plus it gets a lot of eyes and optics on it. So, but at the same time, that's our new standard. And so we got that standard approved, new type of signage, the way we're going to fix our lots, restripe everything. So we're going to start rolling that out. Next is going to be FS11 and also the parking lot behind public health. So we're slowly chipping away at things as we get a little bit more money. If you notice, some of our garages are cleaner because I made sure my maintenance staff really kind of focused on that. They have checklists and everything. We have a pretty robust preventive maintenance program for our gates. They started, when I first got here, they were breaking down a lot. Hopefully they're not as much. So we also are campus wide. You'll start seeing every single handicap stall getting kind of a facelift and the appropriate signage, and we will align it with that. I'm going to kind of jump around. I actually was able to secure one place for the entire team. We were in 6 different locations as a team. We're now going under one roof. That'll be 411 UG. On the 15th, we have a newsletter coming out. It's called From the 411, and which kind of the information that will start going out every 2 weeks. It'll be from parking only, and it'll be going to all our customers. And so I'll tell you kind of what's going on campus, what we're doing. We'll make sure that you stay informed. I am a big dashboard guy. I look at these dashboards every day. So it's really driving some of our decisions. So I have brought data to drive our decision making in our team. A little bit of a learning curve, but we're getting there. Put together a student action team. This is a big deal for me because I don't know how to talk to our students. So I got a bunch of students in my office and basically said, help me connect with my students because they're a big portion of our customers. I went and sought out and hired some new leaders that have industry experience. I can't be the only guy who has parking and transportation industry experience. Brought some people over from LSU that I worked with for many years, willingly. And so I was lucky that they moved across. We provided a lot of training. We are bringing in industry professionals, some of my peers to come in and do training with my team, customer service, how to write a ticket, you name it, how to talk to a customer. We're putting them through the full gamut. I don't know if you all know that we give $500,000 into a scholarship fund. That's what comes out of our budgets so that goes right to enrollment management. As you know, we have started new permits. The new permits is interesting. We engaged with the capstone over at Darla, worked with students, and this is one of the things they suggested as kind of a deliverable, and we did it. And so actually it was interesting. We had students who actually worked on the project, got their green belt, Six Sigma, and then actually I was lucky to get one of them to stay with us over the summer to get it past the finish line. So the permits that you see is a product of her efforts, and so that's kind of neat. We paratransit services. I did not know when I got here that faculty and staff could not ride our paratransit services. And we immediately put a stop to that. So now it's available to everybody in this community. Not only is it available to everybody in this community, it is an on-demand service. You no longer have to make a reservation. You just pull it. If you've already been vetted through ER, then essentially you just dial up a ride, kind of very much like Uber. Again, spoke about 411, and then we're growing. Our social media is blowing up. That's great. And then we improved our game day shuttles. One, the students were asking for it and a lot of our fan base, but also to kind of reduce the crowds at a peak. So we wanted to reduce the peak time so we can get turns a little bit better. Because driving from the CLA to the stadium takes about 45 minutes both ways. So we were trying to figure out ways to do it, and we figured if we stretched it out hours at both ends, it would help out. So it also makes the fans a little bit healthier. All right, so I know one of the questions was rules for success. All I care about for this year really is you have a permit and you park where you're supposed to park. That's it. It's simple. So it's the basic rules. And then we'll kind of get into the place. I assure you that I am training my staff to kind of do the softer side of compliance. We're not out to get you. All we were asking is that we have a compliant community who has a parking permit, and that is it. So, any questions about this? All right, so the president, we got super lucky. I've never worked in a university where the president funded a project like this. And so essentially, he's provided us enough funds to put in a parking guidance system into the Bull Street parking garage. It will go in every single stall in that garage, which means the faculty and staff will also see that. And so with that comes, you know exactly what the space is, the occupancy of the facility. We will continue to add these in the garages as funds become available. The Park USC app will tell you what the availability is. For the most part, when you get in the garage, it gets a little bit wacky because it only works in surface lots. But for the most part, once you get in the garage, you let the signs take over and get you to the open stall. What this will allow internally for us is let us know what we can do. I don't know if you all parked in gate 3 lately, but it is underutilized. But we don't want to get to a place until we have good data on figuring out what we can increase that number to. And so we want to be thoughtful about it, and we want to make sure that we have the right mechanics in making those decisions. So it starts, the RFP is out right now. It's due in 4 days, the response. We will review it. The install is planned to start in October, and we're going to push them a little bit and have it ready to go by January 16, 2025. The president wants it in tomorrow, and we're trying to move this. I don't control procurement, unfortunately, and we kind of have a lot of rules to follow with that, but I'm excited to get it going. Any questions about this? All right, so what's next? So ideally, the park, I'm not fragmenting the technology that we're putting in. So the Park USC app will be kind of like our data aggregator, the epicenter of where the information is. Bull Street Garage will be the first of many parking guidance systems that we put in the garages. And then also we're using a few other little available portable technologies that makes more sense than using Park USC's app. Once you get all that together and you use Park USC's app, it will tell you where every single space is on campus and what the occupancy is. So we're trying to turn the campus into a smart campus. So you will know before you come to work where there's available parking, and for students before they come to campus where there's available parking. At this point, we've done a little bit to improve the community experience. Need to bring in a few more experts to help me with this. So we are going to send out an RFP for a master mobility plan and parking plan so they can come and tell us really kind of what we should do. We will be looking for stakeholders to be part of that, to put some feedback, to help us provide some feedback in crafting that. But we are going to kind of reach out to some parking and transportation consultants to help us do that. We are looking, our policies make no sense. They were written in the 70s. And so we're trying to make that and work through that. Some of them has to go to the state Senate. Some of it just has to stay at the board. We're trying to sift through that. But for right now, the policy from us is, and it's written, just got to have a permit. So, and then we'll go from there. We are going to introduce license plate recognition will help. So there's fixed and mobile. Mobile is more for the compliance side of things and enforcement. Vehicles will be going around with cameras and scanning license plates. Eventually your license plate will be your permit, not you won't have a hang tag. So that will be your credential. And then we're going to put fixed LPR in some of our lanes in our garages. So you just drive up and the gate pops up. You got questions? Yep. You will be allowed to add up to 10 vehicles in the parking management system. So you just select what vehicle you're driving that day. You'd be surprised. Let me tell you. So we are developing a deferred maintenance plan right now, which will be a byproduct of the master mobility plan. Once we figure out what that price tag is, we're more than likely going to issue a bond and start fixing everything in a due time. We are moving park and go locations. So right now it's out by Bull Street, Hampton Street down there where it's affordable parking, $50 a year. And then you ride the bus up to campus. We're moving it to CLA, makes more sense. We can get more riders. It's an affordable option. Plus we've been evicted from Bull Street because they decided to put the School of Medicine there. So EV charging stations, we are looking at locations that are ideal, but I started to notice when you look at zip code studies and people who own electric vehicles, there's going to be a need here in about a year. And so people are going to start knocking on the door and saying, where can I charge my vehicle? So we're trying to figure out that. We got some state laws to get through. because right now we're not allowed to sell electricity, so we got to figure that one out. Because if you drive a gas vehicle, your gas is not free, so we shouldn't be providing electricity. So I am about almost done with crafting the email, but I am looking for volunteers to join us on the advisory group for parking and transportation to really kind of help get, we'll have students on it, faculty and staff, and it just really help us kind of create a better community. And we are engaged in the office of, with the Office of Organizational Excellence, and they're helping us figure out how to make our appeals process better. Because right now, if you file an appeal on your citation, it bothers me that it sits in our queue for like 63 days. That is our average. Our goal is to get it to 48 hours. So they're going to help us get there. You guys deserve a faster response for that. And then the CRM system. So this is the big one. We are looking at certain systems right now to help us respond to you better and help us organize the messages. So email responses, we can do a better job. And then taking phone calls so we can log those in. I want to know how fast we're talking to you once you engage us. And that's our responsibility. And I own that. And we haven't done that very well. And so we are getting there, but we need technology to do that. With that said, any questions? Yes, sir.
There's a question online from Erica Wright. Do we know when the parking lot next to the Discovery Garage will be completed? You were told you can park in the garage until it's finished on the 5th and 6th floor. Just want to make sure that it's still allowed. It's coming fast.
Yes, so that lot totally threw us back a little bit from last week from the rain. And so that garage will stay open and available to those who have FS permits that normally park in that lot until the lot is complete. My sense is it'll be about another 30 days. Yes. Yeah, they kicked us out December 31st, 2024. So January 16th, the new Park and Go from CLA will start. You'll see these messages coming out. Yes.
You ask that many times once the school year starts on Monday night through the week, the students park there and it's just, like I'll get there at 7:30 and there isn't space available.
Well, so all I could tell you is they do run a risk of being out of zone. Right now, there's no rule about overnight the parking. I think if we start patrolling around 3 o'clock in the morning, it's a little bit predatory. And so I will tell you our compliance efforts are going to vastly increase starting the 16th. They will get citations and it won't be a $5 citation anymore.
Okay, so that was the next part. They're like, well, it's my $5. And then the other part of that is, are citations issued for cars that park in 2 spaces?
Yes,
Like park.
called improperly parking. It is now $50.
And then, so the folks that park in those lots that don't have the proper hang tag, they'll be ticketed.
Correct, and that's also $50. Yes. Well, I understood compliance was a big problem. So our revenue is actually significantly up, which really surprised me. And people asked what I did, and I go, I just asked the community to buy a parking permit and told them this is how much the fines are going to be if you don't. So,
Thank you.
yep. Yes, ma'am.
I have 2 questions.
I
First,
have 2 answers.
someone asked me, they park behind Gambrell, so it's not a covered lot, but they want to be able to put up their sunshade to protect their car. But if we have hang tags and there's a sunshade there, like.
The hang tag actually can go over it.
Push it in front, okay. Second question.
And also we have a little package you can come pick up at the parking office for free, and you can actually put it in front of the shade. It'll tape on to the front of it.
Second question, I park downstairs, so I park in the basement.
Okay.
Everybody knows that you cannot tow a car from out of there because of the way the poles are. And while I love Lenora Sellers as a football player, I'm really tired of being almost run over by him on a daily basis. They know that they're not going to get towed out of there, and they don't care about the tickets. He's a student, he's a quarterback. They don't care. Is there a way to, because I'm just I'm irrationally angry after 7 years of parking down there that they don't care.
Couldn't tell.
Could you? Carey and is there a way to boost them?
Yeah, we're putting together a robust booting program. So you bring up a very good point, and thank you. I don't feel comfortable towing our customers, especially our students, because of where the tow impound yards are. I wouldn't ask my daughter to go down to pick up her vehicle that got towed at 2 a.m. in the morning. But students don't do smart things. I understand that. But I also don't want to put them in what's that?
Neither do faculty.
Yes, so, but I don't want to put them in unsafe situations. And so we are looking at a booting program that did get approved. We're just putting it together. And also, a towed car doesn't, a missing car, so people don't know that the rule is being enforced. If I have a boot on a vehicle, people will, oh, they're doing stuff. What's your second question? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because it's billed through the department.
So that's not something that we can pay for out of our paycheck?
No. Oh,
Does that take a while?
it's probably ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
do we just go pick it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So I have a question, spoke in particular. Can you speak to how wait lists are managed to get into the closest garage? And also, can you speak to, we have parking services thought about implementing like seasonal passes? Because a lot of people, when they park in the garage, maybe faculty who are not here during the summer. So we have a lot of staff who would like to pay to park in the summer if there are available spots. So summer, winter, or seasonal time at the garage may be available.
So, yes to the latter there. We are considering it, in seasonal passes. I thought, actually, I saw that in the question and I thought that was a good idea, so we're considering it. But with any change, we're trying to make sure there's not as many unintentional consequences. So I'm almost certain we'll get there. We'll probably get there. So what you're saying is increase the access and are underutilized, not a problem. It does drive me nuts in Pendleton Garage when I see it 100% sold out, but it's 20% utilized in the summer. So I get it. So, and then the other question is wait list. I will have to respond to you later because I'm still trying to figure that out. Right now, when I walk into the supervisor's office. Remember, I've only been here since October, so like 4 seconds. And so I walk in and I see the wait list there. And the first thing I asked was, why isn't this in our parking management system so our customers can see? Her response, I can't be the new boss who comes in and changes everything quickly. I'm dealing with the learning curve. So as the person I brought from LSU is very apt with our parking system, our software. She's handling that right now. So hopefully in the next month or two, you will see a wait list online. Yep. Yes.
There was some changes with some of the ADA parking and the handicap parking. I had a question from one of my constituents. With campus buildings with visitors during like peak business hours, like handicap parking, how that utilize the handicap spaces, how will parking monitors attendance differentiate between a student university employee or a visitor displaying their handicap?
Well, first, visitors can only park in visitor areas.
Okay.
So like on top of closed hip here.
Okay.
And then,
And the law school.
okay, so law school, it would be either Senate or not Senate, I mean Pendleton in the intersection.
Sure.
And so that is the closest place we can offer you. There are handicap street parking available there.
Yeah.
So we understand it's a problem, very dense in that area. So we're trying to figure out what to do for that. So I think he was next and then you, right? Okay, hey, you're next. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
What kind of challenges have you run into with the city of Columbia, especially Main Street, digging up all of Main Street and taking away all of those metered parking along there and around that area and changing that traffic flow? How's that impacted parking for folks that are in those multiple buildings around?
Hasn't impacted us. I mean, actually, if you ask me,
Well, it starts to drive through there.
Well, you asked about parking, not about it's done.
So there's no more spaces, but
Well, I'll be honest with everybody here. We don't have a parking problem. We have a convenience problem. We have plenty of parking here on campus.
let's hear it.
So for me, I look at the city now as a competitor, right? So if we just got to do it better to get our customers off the street and into our facilities, we're looking at that. But one of the big things that we're looking at, we just are rolling towards is for our faculty and staff who are not here as much, and even some of our, part-time students, we're going to go to a daily model and you can still park in your parking lot. And so it'll have a whitelisting. So instead of buying an annual permit, you'll be able to pay by the day when you're here. So we're trying to work that out. That will probably happen in the FY27. But it's something I'm very excited about because I would love to just go to a daily model. It'd solve a lot of problems here.
Because you probably have a lot of remote workers now.
We do,
Versus-
we do, and especially when you look at Pendleton, right? So, and then I think another concept that we're looking at that's getting a lot of traction is the next place where the guidance system is going to go into Pendleton. So I'm not the guy who's going to go and look at an underutilized garage and say, you know what, all reserve parking's gone. Here's a hunting license. So instead, we're going to put the parking guidance system in there and allow our faculty and staff, when they're not here, put their space up for lease. And then we'll look at some type of revenue split, like an Airbnb type thing. So it's making its headway, but the problem is what I'm trying to figure out is, can I give away state money when someone's paid? So we're trying to figure out how that incentive looks to put your parking up for lease. Because if you look in the visitor section on a normal school day, it's completely full. And you go above the meters, it's completely empty and 100% sold out. All right, yes.
So Jessica from the College of Nursing work together, so I wanted to say thank you. I know it's different and appreciate Amy that she brought it.
She's a rock star, yes.
Yeah, it's been really nice and easy to figure out a solution that'll work for both of us. But my question is, can you explain the deferred maintenance? So the lot behind the umbrella, last year they closed it off for an entire week and they just resurfaced it. And then potholes were filled, and like anytime it rains, the surface is uneven. It's not safe to walk through that part.
That's not deferred maintenance, that is basically basic maintenance, so that we're trying to get done.
I'm not sure. It's just not safe. And like we see blacktop, but like that's not really safe parking lot. So.
I'll have someone look at it. So the deferred maintenance plan will have a consultant come in, provide construction drawings. Not to get too much in the weeds, but they'll give us certain ratings. The rating scale is 1 through 10. And then what we take is if you're 1 and 2, that's year 1, and 3 and 4, that's year 2. And so the deferred maintenance plan, those are the things that absolutely have to be addressed. Right now, we're trying to address just some of the potholes and things like that, so we don't screw up people's vehicles.
Well, or people walking through and tripping and falling and uneven lines.
There's a lot of that around here, and we're trying to fix them as possible, so thank you. Yes.
Do you have any input on, the school events and being campus party? Or that just to be it?
What do you mean, parking?
For the school medicine, we don't have the parking here, so are you involved in the parking situation? That,
Only when it comes again.
whenever we come to campus?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes.
I just say kudos to your department, staff appreciation day.
Oh, thank you.
We went to, initially, we asked for about 10 spaces for our military, and you actually opened up.
Thank you.
Very helpful because there are a lot of campuses that are close to Russell House, but then there's some that are not, and they let not to come, to the center of campus because there's a lack of. So it was really helpful and really encouraged our staff to come.
Yeah, the attendance was amazing. That was an easy one. That was a no-brainer. I mean, nobody was in the garage. But
Piggybacking off of her, a lot of people in my building, we're in Hampton Street, the admin building. And the constant complaint is the garage, not the garage, but the park. If that is on the radar to be addressed.
it is. Actually, I actually am, we're working with a lot of that. I'm actually also having a meeting about the density issues that you're about to have for parking out there once the School of Medicine, working with Caroline and some of the leadership over there to figure that all out. Yes.
I work in the School of Public Health. Can you tell me if there are any plans to resurface the gravel lot or of Assembly?
We just put in new gravel. Right now, no. And so we're just trying to keep it what it's doing. We also got to worry about drainage, water retention and things like that. The more concrete you add, the worse the drainage gets. Yes.
We had a couple of questions online. So yeah, make sure they can hear. Thank you. So will there be emphasis on enforcing the 24-hour rule for reserved spaces? That's one question. And then from the same person, also what about response time considerations when calling for a ticket to be issued? You want to ticket someone because they're in your spot.
So we will be serious about compliance for 24/7 stalls, response time. So we will get someone out there. We'll have 3 people to a zone. We'll have 3 people monitoring over 2,500 spaces in that zone. My goal is to have a person visit the space 4 times a day. We're doing it now. And so, unfortunately, when it was a non-compliant world, and you really kind of got to show a force on this, and it's just an unfortunate thing. I am happy to see that the ask was overwhelming. People are buying permits, including our students, but we're still suspecting that we're going to monitor the first semester when it comes to compliance. And so it's not what I'm happy to do. So I like to call compliance a behavior modification program. And so we don't make any money. Actually, we lose money when we write a ticket. So. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And I got to worry about the students. They deserve the same access out there. We don't have very any decal lots. We are looking at a stop around that area from the park and go, like maybe have it 3 stops. So that might help alleviate some things.
I have a question just from someone about parking rate increases.
Yep.
How often should we expect parking rate increases?
That's a loaded question. So the president asked me to put together a 10-year plan. I have no intentions of raising parking rates next year, but we have to monitor kind of what inflation looks like. Gas, we do have real expenses and we're a self-sustaining business. Like we get no, other than what the president has funded to improve everybody's experience in that garage, we get no other support. And so our partners, Comet, our parking management system and all the vendors that we use that we're in contracts with are raising their fees 3 to 5% each year. And it's not sustainable for us. That's why we're trying to bring in tech as quickly as possible. So we can use our staff in different capacities and then kind of just do things smarter instead of keep throwing staff at it. Hope that answered your question.
Yep. And then if people just in general, I know we've talked about this, but if people have questions, whether specific lots or situations, what is the best email or who to connect with just to share?
Sure. I think there's one person in here who won't believe me, but email parking@bellon.sc.edu. We will respond. I promise you, we're getting better. I'm watching our response times. And while we're not collecting any data, I am making sure that our staff is responding. And now also too, I just made an edict the other day because we had an email come back and my staff is not putting their names to the email responses. And it is literally I kind of just had a moment. So I'm like, from now on, and I have not made an edict. So my first edict was effective immediately, everybody will sign their name. So I can go coach the employee as they engage the community. It's the only way we're going to get better. But if you're hiding yourself, then I don't know, because then you're going to come to me with your concerns. I'm going to go, well, who emailed you? And I don't know who that is. So. Yes, ma'am.
In that same coaching, can you just ask them to answer their phone? There's something called where if there's no answer, but you send an email and there's an immediate response. I understand they're busy, but if the voicemail is also completely full
It is.
all the time, at some point.
I will let them be aware, but I assure you, There's no idle hands in that office right now, especially.
Oh, no,
with the-
no, it's one ridiculous.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sure, you hear about complaints a lot, but any interaction with parking has always been super nice. Everybody is very nice. They're quick to respond, but the
Appreciate it.
customer service to me seemed like it was great, but maybe that's just been my experience, but
Well, we can, improve it, for sure. I think our actions need to improve. Yeah, I mean, if you are able to interact with people, yeah, they're very cordial and they're very friendly. But I think, it doesn't really improve the need that and when they're not engaging with you, it's frustrating that you can't get a hold of us. I understand. Yes.
A lot of people, 1600 Hampton Street do this 3 to 5 day. So they're in the office 3 days and work from home 2 days. And you mentioned like the leasing spots are allowing those spots to be released. So I was wondering if it would help your cause to think of it more as a refund instead of revenue, maybe not refund.
Well, in your scenario, we would look at a permit valid for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then have one for Tuesday, Thursday. The leasing would only make sense if students were to park there. And not that Hampton would, that model would not work in that garage. Yes, ma'am.
That available.
You say temporary and what's that?
So, we have interns and interns don't get paid and they're only here for a couple months, our interns are. So, is there any, they don't need a pass for a year. They might not even be a student here, or they might be have gone through graduation. They only need to park there for about a weeks.
Okay.
And so.
We do sell semester permits. So there's that might satisfy 12 weeks, it'll be 4 weeks there. It gets very costly if you go to a daily model with 12 weeks. We do have meter cards, which are like $5 a day. And you can try to, and then you scratch on the days that you're here, so you won't have to scratch them out every day. And just buy the grand total and then the person's responsible for scratching on each card. The daily model that we're talking about, that will solve for that problem. Because you'll be able to pay for those 12 weeks in advance.
I mean, they're not getting paid, so I meant like for our department.
So are you asking for temporary free parking permits
That's what, yes, we have temporary parking permits.
that are free?
No, not necessarily free, that like the department could get these temps. For these-
Yes, the departments can buy meter cards and we direct bill for those.
Yeah, well, there's not meter in
Where are you at?
the field.
Well, CLA is only $50 a year. The parking lot period. So
That's fine, I'm not thinking more.
I understand they're unpaid, but that's why I asked, are you expecting for free? And you said no. So that's the most affordable option. All right, any other questions? The park and go. The park and ride.
So what they're gonna do, and correct me if I'm wrong, so the School of Medicine they're building a new school of medicine at the Bull Street area. And that it was the park and go where they used to have affordable parking passes there, $50 a year, where you could park your car and buses would transfer you over to campus. Because they no longer can be there because of the construction that's about to happen, development, they've worked with the CLA parking lot to now become the new park and go, which is pretty ideal for anyone that's looking for affordable parking, to be able to buy a park and go pass, $50 a year, park in that CLA parking lot, and then there will be shuttles that are actively going to be transporting faculty, staff, and students and around campus at different stops. So, yeah, 3 stops. So something to consider as we think about affordability, talking with your constituents about with the parking permits and any raised fee increases or raises that happen over the years, is that obviously technology, what's happening all around campus and what we're bringing and what Brian and his team are bringing, but really important that we mention and we can share with those that have that concern with affordability. And I think that's a really nice benefit for $50 a year to do that right there at CLA, which is right, by Park Place Housing. It's right by Darla Moore,
There will be no overnight parking with that one for sure, so
And-
because we have. the
and that's
gateway
important.
next door.
And no overnight parking, yeah.
Any other questions? Yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, if I treat these, the entire community like I treat my family, I think we'll be in a good place.
Good question up there.
Just curiosity thing, what's the life cycle of the garage that we have? They're pretty old.
Yeah, so like a normal life cycle is about,
1600 Hampton, but pretty dilapidated, and I go up the central stairway in Blossom Street garage, that there's a few 2 hours with others.
yeah, that's getting fixed. So that's one of the projects I mentioned. So, yeah, that's pretty bad, held up by shored up with 2x4s. It's like, it's not my vibe for sure. So the life cycle for garages is about 50 years if you maintain them well. And you could actually stretch them out to 60 if you maintain them even better than one.
Or any of them reaching that limit.
Some of them, yes. So. They're getting old. That's awesome.
All right, let's give our guest speaker a thank you for coming. And he had his contact information up here, so if you need to connect with Brian, please feel free, especially being a staff senator. Yeah, but his cell phone as well. But please utilize, right? You have a platform being a staff senator to help and work with your constituents. It's important to also figure out the themes. And that's kind of like what we did with exec committee based off what you all shared with us about the themes of parking and what was kind of coming up. And we were able to talk with him and have a couple of deep phone calls, just talking really through things like parking rate increases, affordability, safety. What is the plan, right? Not being in the dark or feeling like we have no idea what's going on. And what I can assure you is that he is very transparent. As you've seen, he is very open and focused on communication. And so I think that as a partnership with Staff Senate to have that understanding and to figure out what to do, I think that Park to Go, and a personal note, my understanding is that's going to be transformational for our staff, specifically that are seeking that affordability in parking, because CLA can still be a walking distance if you needed to get somewhere pretty quick from if you're not able to wait for a shuttle, but knowing that they're also stepping up those shuttles running continuously. So really important. This was an incredible speaker to have. I obviously in my 4 years with Staff Senate, parking has not been here. So really wonderful to finally have them come and speak, and especially the director come and speak with us. So we're going to go back a little bit and we're going to go to our committee updates. And so I will ask, all right, we're going to go through each of the committee updates. Please come up to the podium just so that you can make sure everyone online can hear as well the updates that you have with your committees. And we'll start first with membership.
So we're still working on membership, making sure that we have each senator aligned with the units that they represent, and making sure that we have that ready for election also. So we're working on that. What, is there anything else? Yeah, and yeah, we've been working in the election system too to make some changes, but that's it. It's a lot still. But that's it. Awesome.
All right, communication.
Hello, everyone. Our biggest project that the communications committee will be taking on this next month and probably the month after is updating the staff senate website. So, a few things that we know we're going to add that we actually just got sent today was a yearly list of all that staff senate has accomplished. So we will be adding that to the website. Definitely a place to point people when they ask, what did staff senate do, or what have y'all accomplished? So that will actually be a permanent list on the website that we will continue to update. But wanted to let all committees know that if there's something that you want to add to the website or change on the website, anything at all, we are accepting those changes or recommendations for changes. We will be culling through every site, every page on the website and beginning this update process because we haven't done a big overhaul of it since it was created years ago. So that's what we're going to be taking on soon. I know we have a few senators we need to add or remove still. So, and of course, also if you do have a new headshot taken or you want it to be replaced on the website, also send that our way. But we will be making updates to the website.
And if you have anything you want amplified on Twitter, either send it to me, you can send it, DM it to us directly on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it this week. And we'll amplify that for you as well.
Yeah, Lori's going to take over managing the Twitter for us. It's been a little dormant because that's my bad. I was focused on the main USC Twitter, not Staff Senate, but definitely a good place to put our events or amplify other colleges and units or any donation drives we're doing. So Lori's going to be kicking that back off for us. That's it.
Staff policy and well-being. Sure, I'll start. Oh, that's been on. So we did a lot this past month. A couple of ongoing initiatives that kind of Gardy came and spoke to us about. We wanted to share. The Siegel consulting is still going on. That is separate from the EAB consultation and employee value proposition. Again, ongoing projects include searching for a new LMS talent management system, and they are considering looking at student loan forgiveness and being a partner in that. You want to do dependent tuition?
Sure. So dependent tuition remission, we met, I think it was last week or the week before with Joey Derrick in the financial aid. We got a lot of answers that other committees had gone down the path before. In summary, we're going to have to be diligent about going through central HR and also trying to drum up help from liaisons who usually act on behalf of the university, Craig Parks and others. At some juncture, they're going to enter the fray, and then we will also need other universities at some point, like the Clemsons and MUSC, or other institutions throughout the state. Once we can get some forward momentum with that, then we should be able to look at making some meaningful change, because state law has to change before we can really tap into reducing like a dependence, like if your child or spouse wants to attend USC at a reduced rate. And what we found out is the funding source that they currently use right now is outside of state funds. It's actually these funds are raised. So that provides some clarity there.
And so scholarships committee, we may be reaching out to y'all to see if, while we are also looking to change state law to maybe create this dependent tuition policy, to maybe also just make the current scholarship they have that's offered by USC to be more prominent. And maybe that can connect to staff senate scholarship, TBD. We have this big meeting. We're going to discuss it at our next committee meeting. Employee well-being is hiring 2 new positions, so they should be a really strong unit coming up soon. And as I mentioned last time, the caregiver network is now up and running, and we should have our first meeting in September. So please look out for that. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to me directly.
I wanted to give a plug to Amanda on our team. She's going to be looking into trying to help make sure we establish mental health spaces across campus. So we appreciate Amanda in that regard. The next meeting for us is August 20th at 3 o'clock. So that's about all we got.
Session? Thank you all. There's a lot moving and shaking in policy and well-being always, so thank you all for your leadership on that. All right, professional development.
So at our last meeting, we completed going over and making edits to our charter. We established Whitney Esau as our secretary. Thank you, Whitney. We discussed bringing some health and wellness opportunities to the staff senate, and possibly connecting with our friends on the policy and wellbeing committee to see like what resources we have, where we can collaborate. Margie Ziegler graciously offered to put together a survey for us, and we are going to kind of get into that and finalize that in our next meeting, hopefully, which is on September 18th. We also discussed some networking opportunities for staff senators outside of our general meeting times. So if we would be interested in like a lunch or a dinner type of thing where we just get together sort of outside of this environment, get to know each other on a personal level. And I believe everybody received an email from Megan. The Office of Access and Opportunity recently opened applications for the next Inclusive Excellence Institute, a great professional development opportunity. I'm a little biased, but you know. So if anybody's interested about that, go check that out. I can also put the details in our Teams channel for you. And I said September 18th, right? Okay.
And these applications are open until August 23rd, so it's a quick turnaround. So please share this with your constituents. I know that email, but feel free to forward, pass along to different teams, and it's for faculty or staff and faculty. So if you do work with some faculty members that might really love that opportunity, feel free to share with them as well. But thank you all for that. All right, community projects. Come on up.
Here. All right, so as everyone knows, we did our community shop drive today. I just want to thank everyone and your constituents that donated today. We raised $200 overall, and you can still donate if you want to with the QR code if you want to do something monetary. It looks like student affairs came in with the most items, 53 total. School of Music was very close with 51, and altogether as a staff senate, we brought in 171 items. So from now until our next meeting, we're going to do another drive that's focused on household items for the international students, like Megan mentioned earlier. So that's things like sheets, towels, bath mats, shower curtain liners, like self-care items like shampoo, conditioner, soap, deodorant, body wash, laundry detergent, pillows. And you can bring those to the next meeting on September 10th. I encourage everyone to let your constituents know about this. I think as a committee, we're going to try and do a better job of putting things together so that we can send stuff out to staff senate so you can actually share it with your constituents. I think that might make life a little easier and make responses better. In October, we're actually planning to do another drive focused more on business clothes for both males and females for the Carolina Closet. They provide professional attire for students or staff. And so more details will come out about that probably before our next meeting in September. If anyone's interested in doing or continuing the Ronald McDonald House tab drive, I heard that prior to my tenure as a staff senator that was very popular. So we'll be sending something out to see whether or not you want to participate in that. If you still need the containers that those come in, that you put those in to bring back to the meetings. And let me see, I think that's it. So our next committee meeting is August 20th at 3 p.m. on Teams.
One question.
The sheets that you're requesting, like, are those like twin XL, like the dorm sheet?
Probably, so, yeah, for the longer,
It can be a
mattresses. Okay.
Full-size beds?
Yeah. If you think about like interactions with don't just live on campus, they also live off campus and full.
Right.
It's common. I would say until this point, like it can be any size, but really women.
They're in the car.
What area do you work in?
Okay, all right. So, they collected everything downstairs and took it away with them. So if you want, does anybody, let me see.
Yes, I can take that.
I dropped off some stuff at the table out there.
And what area are you in?
Went to the back, research.
Okay, all right. Y'all have a box out there? Okay, all right. So once again, we're gonna do a better job at communicating when, where, and how, when it comes down to the drives that we're doing. Yeah, and I'll help take whatever needs to be taken down, so Alyssa can take it over.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Look at all these helpers. We're all like, real help.
Whatever y'all need, whatever everyone needs to help everyone. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, bylaws, come on down.
Hello, everybody. So we have some new things that we were talking about and then some less new things that we're gonna read. So the new thing that we're talking about comes with a very, very large asterisk, very like brand new, just fresh off the press. Please don't judge any of our ideas. We are aware that a lot of people are wondering about remote attendance. That is something that is a concern that you guys have. So we started kind of talking about it, and the bare bones that I can get you is that it's complicated. We talked about if we were to do some kind of a remote thing, it would have to be in tandem with like the filed HR remote work approved plans. It couldn't just be like, it's rainy. I feel like remote work, if your office is okay with that, then cool, but that wouldn't be something that would classify. That led to us kind of going on a tangent about if you are on university approved travel. Technically, university approved travel would be something that would put you in a remote situation. So would you have to like have a TA on file to verify that the whole thing is that basically it's complicated. It also got us realizing that we don't have a whole lot of stuff in the bylaws about what exactly attendance is and what attendance means and where attendance can be applied for like committee stuff versus in-person stuff. And like, so we're going to be working on defining attendance, kind of seeing how that's going to fit into the bylaws. And then from that conversation, we can then kind of get into the remote conversation. But again, as of right now, I'm gonna say the remote conversation is really kind of hairy. So if you have ideas about that, let us know, please. We're trying. It's complicated. So again, any ideas about remote, let me know. The other thing that's the less new thing is working on the presidential succession in bylaws. And so we drafted, I believe, last year. And then.
You want me to bring it up? You what? Oh, we'll review it later. Yep.
Cool. That's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you. Awards and recognition. Oh. You got it. Thank you for sharing that. No report. Going on to scholarship and fundraising. Come on down.
All right, our committee met on the 16th of July and looked into ways that we might raise funds. And we mulled over some big plans, like a golf tournament, which that won't happen with me at the helm, but that'll be down the road. And then maybe, like a run, that, seemed more doable for us because we had somebody on our committee is familiar with golf tournaments and it seemed, like a huge ask at this time. But I'm gonna, or I have reached out to some event planning classes and, to see if one of, the professors would like to do that as a help to the staff senate. Because I went through the program, so I know they're always looking for event planning, ideas or places that they can help plan an event. We are also looked at the easiest way to award a scholarship once we get to that point and, the accounting processes of that. Savannah has some knowledge about the accounting process and so we'll figure out if we need different kind of accounting to, award scholarships. Savannah also reached out to Clemson Advancement Committee, which is the same as our scholarship and fundraising committee. And, they have graciously accepted to come speak to our group on our next meeting, August 20th, to share what's been successful for, their staff senate, which has a much longer tenure than our staff senate, and things that, they've done to raise funds. Katie reached out to Michaela, who reached out to Alexis. And, so now, you can give, and we're in the drop-down menu on the staff, on the giving, website on, faculty senate was on the drop-down. And, we asked to be on the drop-down. They said, well, there's not a lot of room we're there. We're third now, underneath faculty senate, giving. And so thank you to Katie and Savannah. And, I have the QR code because Alexis, sent it out to me this week. And, I'll try to get it on the staff senate website. But, if anybody wants to, do the code to give to staff senate, it's right here. And I'll try to put out every staff senate meeting. So if you just got $5 burn a hole in your pocket, give. And I think that's it. We meet again on the 20th.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I'm going to ask our parliamentarian to come up as we move into the order of business portion of our meeting.
This is the first one we've had for this term of staff senate. Just to explain, when we do a bylaws change, the first time that we hear it is just a reading. So we read it, well, they read it, bylaws reads it, there's no vote. The vote happens at the next meeting. So, so Amanda will take it from here and read it and go from there. Good? Yeah.
You can kind of click through. It's basically where you have the
Differs. We're gonna get the dyslexic kid to read. Okay. All right. So, do I introduce this or do I just start reading?
You can introduce where it's at. Yeah.
Okay. So, this is looking at kind of the officer section and the way that it reads so that we can kind of establish what the procedure is for the presidential succession. So the way that it reads right now, it just says the president and then it lists out the job duties. The change is that we're adding in president shall succeed to office immediately after serving as vice president. And then it starts with the duties after that. Vice president, we added in the part where it says vice president will serve in 3-year consecutive term, 1 year as vice president, year 2 as the president, and then year 3 as the immediate past president. And then it has immediate past president, and then it kind of went into the duties. The change is we're going to have shall succeed to office immediately after serving as president. So adding that in. And then this is regarding elections. As of right now, it says that we elect the president, which we don't. So we're taking that out.
Yep, that's it.
Cool.
Well, do you guys have any questions?
I can make up an answer.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's the first reading. All right, and now, since that is the rest of our business portion, we are going to move to announcements for the good of the order. And before we start with senators, I'd love to invite our staff ombudsperson to come share an update from their area. Oh, no, you're fine. Take care.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'm so pleased to announce that I have finally moved to 1430 Senate Street, which is on the building on the corner of Bull and Senate. I'm on the 3rd floor, room 308. That location was recently posted on the website as well. We don't have phones yet, but you can call my current, I know, there's only one guy on campus working on the phones. That's our understanding. So maybe that's something we could advocate for, more phone help. But the phone, you can leave a voicemail on my current phone, and then I'll pick it up through email and then get back to folks. So super excited, very accessible, just kind of get on the elevator stairwell and then reach over, and I have a little sitting area, waiting area if I'm already in a meeting. Plenty of room to have multiple people in the room at the same time. So I'm very, very excited about the space. I also have a survey link on my signature, as well as on the website that's coming. And please, if you visited the office or had interaction with me, you're welcome to complete. It's like 5-sentence survey. So that will help with our data collection and just, again, demonstrate the value of the office and also give me constructive feedback if anything should change. But anyway, the point of coming up here is to just let you know the office change. And also, I thank you so much, those senators who've reached out for presentations. It's been wonderful to meet with your groups. I have plenty more time for more. So if you'd like me to come and visit with your college staff or your department staff, 20-30 minutes, similar format as to what I shared with you all earlier in June. Happy to make those appointments. And I think I said today 60 people at a presentation. I might be up to 70 by now, but it's so good to see that the services are popular and that people are coming not only as individuals, but also in groups to voice and share with me their concerns. So thanks again for your support, and I look forward to another academic year with you all.
Wonderful. Yes.
Just to give a quick shout out, thank you. She has had problems also with mailing, and so in our staff retreat, we wanted to do an update on Staff Senate and on this wonderful accomplishment. She hand walked brochures to my office the next day. Like, the retreat was really cool. Your service is really phenomenal, and I just want to make sure everyone here knows that.
Yeah, I don't have mailing either.
So, I mean, that was on me then to walk over to you, and then I walk in the next day and they're on my desk.
Well, I
That's amazing.
appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Yes, and please, if you have had Robin, again, the way that this formed out of Staff Senate, this role, it is so important that she has data, she has the words of staff and the staff voice coming through that form that is online on the website. So please utilize that, especially if she's already come to your area or you've had interactions with her. Please fill that out, just because it helps give evidence for why this position matters and why we need to have it. But those numbers are incredible. So Robin, thank you for taking this role and being here with us. Yes, Senator McCormick.
Graduating licensure. It's just
very exciting at the college. Had that ribbon. Yes.
Yeah.
Even so cookies.
Let's give a round of applause for that. That's wonderful. That's great news. College of Nursing, for those online that didn't hear, opened their satellite campus over in partnership with Lexington Medical Center. It's incredible. What else? Yes.
Nobody knows, we have moved to the Center for Health and Wellbeing. Psychiatry is on the 3rd floor, with primary care and counseling is going to be on the 4th floor. We're living through a renovation, so you guys probably know how that goes. But we're happy to be more integrated with primary care and other services within the Center for Health and Wellbeing.
Here. Their announcements. All right. I've got my little script. All right, so we are at the conclusion of our announcements. Is there a motion to adjourn? Yep, Senator Epps, a second, Senator Carey. With that, we stand in adjournment until September 10th. Thank you. This is my gavel today.